Two things going on in the last 24 hours. First off, Conor McGregor is now fighting Eddie Alvarez. That came out a couple of days ago, but they had a press conference. Conor owned the stage. They brought a bunch of guys on stage. Conor took over like he always does. Jeremy Stevens, God bless him, piped in there. He tried to get his 2 cents in, and Conor shut him down. I thought Jeremy did the right thing. He had a hot mic. He used the opportunity, but it is a problem. It's the same guy. Guys had the same problem. I watched a fan at a Q&A one time come after CM Punk, and CM Punk didn't have a fight announced yet. And so the dude comes to the Q&A, and God bless him, man. He took his opportunity. He waited in line. He got to that microphone. He had this whole thing prepared, and he starts shooting on CM Punk, trying to get his own name out there. Punk shoots him down instantly by simply going, "Dude, are you even in the UFC?" And the guy responds by going, "Are you?" And Punk goes, "I'm on the goddamn stage." And all the air was sucked out of the room. There was no response to that. And the guy just kind of shuffled off. And to this day, I don't know what his name is, but I get what he was trying to do. I respect the whole thing. Jeremy Stevens took advantage of the opportunity, but much like the fan that chose to take on CM Punk, instead of taking him on him in a grappling or in a boxing or in a wrestling or in an MMA contest, when you show up to a Q&A and grab the microphone, you are now taking Punk on in the one thing that we know he is good at, which is talking into the microphone. So Jeremy Stevens, and God bless him, I think he did the right thing, but he chose to take on Conor at the one thing we know Conor's better at. Sure, they'd go out there and fight, and we'd have to figure out who's the better striker and in better shape and can grapple and do all these. We know who's going to win in that contest, and that's the one that Jeremy took him in at, and he came up a little bit short. The point of all of this is that Conor is now fighting Eddie Alvarez. At the press conference, Conor turned to Eddie Alvarez, and he said this publicly, which I thought was a bit of a surprise. He said, "Eddie," I'm paraphrasing here, but he said, "Eddie, you made a dumb move. When you found out you were fighting me, you didn't even renegotiate. You're getting the same money that you would have got to fight someone else. That's how stupid you are." And Eddie responded by saying, "You're easy money." Well, first off, I was a little surprised Conor did that publicly, because there is some of that goes on behind the scenes, and Conor is good business. But I respected Eddie in that whole thing. Eddie came on my podcast, and he called out Conor. He never talked about money. He never talked about red panty night and I'm jealous and what all these guys are making. He said, "Conor McGregor has a weakness, which is wrestling. I got a skill that I never use because my hands do my talking for me, but I've been a wrestler my whole life. I go to wrestling practice 3 times a week. I was trained by Kenny Monday for 2 damn years. I will take him down anytime I want, and he'll never get up." Eddie Alvarez never once brought up money. And when I find out that behind the scenes, Eddie Alvarez has a deal that he signed and that he is prepared to honor, I respect that. I do not know of a time in UFC history, and I've been around from the beginning. It was as a fan, but then I got my chance as a competitor or a commentator, whatever you want to say, but I've been around from the beginning. I don't know of a time, guys, that anyone has ever signed a UFC contract and left mad. I don't know anybody that signed a World Series contract, a Bellator contract, a Pride contract, a Bodog contract, an IFL contract, a WEC contract, a Strikeforce, Elite XC, WBA, IBF, IBO. I don't remember a guy signing a contract and being mad. And somewhere along the way, they get their push. They see what comes with being with the company. They get on TV. They pick up some sponsors. They get a cut in line at their local club on a Saturday night. They get all these things that they always dreamed of, and now they get big for their britches and think that they should go back and be able to renegotiate. Eddie Alvarez was given one thing, and it was the one thing that he asked for, an opportunity. He was given an opportunity in the octagon. He was given an opportunity to fight for a world championship with RDA. He's now given an opportunity to headline a historic event at Madison Square Garden, and his opponent that happens to be the biggest draw the sport's got. There's going to be a bunch of money there. Eddie didn't come in with his hand out. He came out with one request, which was give me an opportunity. And I like it. And I think it's refreshing. Now, when this happened, there was a domino effect. Jose Aldo was supposed to fight Conor McGregor because Eddie Alvarez was supposed to fight Khabib Nurmagomedov. When Nurmagomedov got pulled and Conor got inserted, the domino effect is now Jose doesn't get to fight Conor, or at least right away. In my opinion, they're never going to fight. In my opinion, Conor just simply isn't going to go back to 145. Whether he win, lose, or draw against Eddie Alvarez, I just don't personally think he's going to go back to 45. I also don't think he should. The money doesn't go up. It's uncomfortable. He's not pleasant. I don't think there's any reason he should go. He's already won the fight. He's the world champion there. I just don't think he goes back. Point being, Jose Aldo felt slighted. He's now come out and asked for a release from the company because he was lied to. So the way that this works is somewhere along the line, he got a call from the UFC that said, Jose, your next fight's going to be Conor. Well, because it's now not going to be Conor, he's looking at that as a lie. That's not a lie. It's just things change. You have to be a little bit flexible and understand, look, when I give you information, I'm only as good as the information I have. This is what we're trying to do, but it does take two to tango. Okay, if I tell you you're getting Conor next, but Conor says, no, I'm going here next, well, there's not a lie. There's a change in plans. And secondly, to be fair, and this isn't against Jose Aldo, one of the greatest talents the sport has ever seen, maybe number one. He's in the argument for top three any way you slice it. He might be number one. So in no way is this meant to be against Jose Aldo, but timelines matter, guys. Timelines in history do matter. Jose Aldo did the exact same thing to the UFC that the UFC is now doing to him. The UFC told him, you're going to fight Conor McGregor next. They then had to call him and go, look, change of plans. It's not going to happen. Well, if you rewind the tape less than 12 months, Jose Aldo had told the UFC, I will fight Conor McGregor. He then called back a few days later and said, I'm not going to do the fight. As a matter of fact, historically, Jose Aldo's done that a total of 5 times. He has pulled out of 5 different fights, which means on 5 different occasions, he picked up the phone and he said, yes, this is what I'll do. He then had to pick up the phone again and say, no, I'm not going to do what I said I was going to do. So in this case where the UFC had to call him and say, yes, this is what we're going to do. Oh, new day, new time. Guess what? Now we're not going to do it. The roles are reversed, but they're the exact same thing. I want to offer this to Jose. I'm not picking on him. I'm offering to him that he please consider that. That he please consider this is a two-way street. Things do change. Jose was not wrong to call them and say, I'm hurt or I'm sick. Whatever the reason, I can't do what I said I was going to do. He's not wrong. Things came up and things changed in his life and he wasn't able to go through with what he said he was. Now the shoe is just on the other foot. I just want to offer to Jose Aldo to not be so angry, to be a little bit more flexible, to understand you've got the same deal for the same money and the same contract. You're going to be fighting, if not for the championship that you have right now, but for the undisputed championship that Conor could have stripped from him. And to just be a little bit more understanding, because they were understanding when you did this to them. I just want to offer that. You form your own opinions. I want to offer that.